If you've worked with Power BI for a while, you already know how to build KPI cards. In most projects I've seen, even in large clients, they usually look like this. Big number, basic trend line, standard formatting. They work, but they don't feel like this. And the difference isn't complexity, it's design. So let's break it down. We've already got our model loaded. It's a simple sales star schema. The only thing that really matters here is a proper date table, because everything we're about to do depends on that. Now, instead of jumping straight into visuals, we start with the foundation. Before placing a single measure, we place the background. This component was designed in Figma, just a container with some spacing, rounded corners, and subtle shadow. Easy. If you're interested in how to build simple layout components like this for your own Power BI projects, let me know in the comments and I'll make a dedicated video on that. You don't need to be a design expert. It's honestly much simpler than most people think. So we import the background. Immediately, the canvas feels different, don't you think? Now we load the custom JSON theme, where we define typography, color palette, and visual defaults. Now, before we even create the first measure, remember something. At the beginning, we had a time selector, 1D, 1W, 1M, 1Y, and max. What was that actually doing? It was slicing the KPI dynamically. So the first thing we build isn't the measure, it's the selector. We head over to Enter Data and create a small table. 1D, 1W, 1M, 1Y, and max. Here's a quick tip. I always like to add numeric IDs to each option. Because when you start writing DAX logic, working with numbers is just way cleaner than working with text. As you can see, this table we just created is completely ad hoc. It's what we call an island, meaning it's not connected to the rest of the model at all. Now let's jump into the measures. I've actually already written them out, so we're just going to walk through the logic step by step so you understand exactly what they do. In total, we're only going to need about 4 measures for this entire setup. Pretty easy, right? Let's start with the first one, our base sales KPI. The very first thing we do here is establish our context. We need to know 2 things. What is our maximum date, and what value is currently selected in our slicer? Why do we calculate the max date first? Think of it as an anchor. Because we are dynamically slicing the chart, basically cropping the edges to focus on specific timeframes, we need a fixed reference point. That fixed point is our maximum date, the very edge of our sales timeline. And notice we use all selected here. We do that so if you ever want to add external filters later, like a year slicer, the measure respects it perfectly without breaking the logic. Next, the selector variable. This simply uses selected value to capture exactly what view we want to look at. And finally, the core logic, a switch statement. If the selector is max, we don't filter anything. We just show the entire historical period. If it's 1D, we only look at the last day. Same exact logic for a week, a month, and a year. Pretty straightforward, right? Alright, now that the logic is in place, let's start dropping elements onto the canvas. We'll start with this first KPI and give it a little bit of formatting. Now, let's clean it up. We don't need these default borders, so those go away. Let's move the label to the top, change its color to a softer gray, and let's bump the main value size up to 36, with the label sitting nicely at 14. At first, it looks completely blank. Why? Because we haven't added our selector to the canvas yet. So let's insert a slicer and bring in that time selector we built earlier. Again, we strip away the noise, remove the borders, hide the title, and set the orientation to horizontal. We'll increase the number of columns and boom, now we start seeing data. But we can make this look way better. Let's refine that slicer. No hover background, no button fill. We want a super clean interaction. For now, we'll just make the default text slightly darker and bump up the font size. And when an option is selected, let's make it pop in pure white. Now, back to the line chart. We add our measure, drop in the date table, and it's looking good, but it's too cluttered. Time to clean it up. We're stripping out the horizontal grid lines, the vertical grid lines, and getting rid of those unnecessary axes. Let's also increase the height to let it breathe. Personally, I really don't like heavy grid lines on these micro charts. Instead, I prefer adding a simple average line. And check this out. Now we can clearly click through the daily view, the weekly view, and the monthly view. Just like that, the component is starting to feel completely alive. All right, we just need one last piece to bring this home, the variation. We want to show the change relative to whatever period the user selects. The good news? We basically reuse the exact same logic we just built. Same base measure, same dynamic context. Let's drop it into a new card and start cleaning it up. We remove the label and strip out any unnecessary formatting. Remember, this shouldn't compete with the main KPI. It's just supporting information. Next, we apply our calculation group so it respects the selected time period. And boom. Now let's make it visually expressive. We'll jump into conditional formatting for the background. If the value is greater than or equal to 0, green. If it's below 0, red. Let's adjust the shape now. We'll add some rounded corners. Let's try 15 pixels. Actually, no, that's not quite right. Let's try 20. Yes, that works way better. Let's resize it just a bit and give it some breathing space inside the container. You could place this above the KPI or slightly offset, but personally, I prefer placing it right near the value with a nice little margin. It just feels a lot more integrated. All right, let's test it out. Positive period, negative period. Let's click through 1D, 1W, and 1M. It reacts perfectly. It looks incredibly clean. All right, now we're down to the final touches. Simple details. But trust me, these are the ones that really make the difference. Right now, our variation card turns green or red depending on the selected period. But the line chart stays the exact same color, and that breaks consistency. If the KPI says we're negative, the line should intuitively feel negative too. So how do we actually do that? First, we need the variation as a standalone measure. Now, yes, we already calculated it using a calculation group. And the reason I did it that way initially is simple. Calculation groups scale. If you build more KPIs later, you just apply the group and everything works dynamically across pages. But for this specific visual behavior, we need the variation logic strictly inside a measure. So we just copy the same switch logic we used before. Same selector, same max date, same dates in period logic. Now comes the trick. Power BI doesn't allow dynamic line color formatting directly. Bar charts, sure. Line charts, not really. So we use a classic workaround. We're going to create two specific measures, sales green and sales red. If variation measure is greater than or equal to 0, return total sales. Otherwise, blank. And for sales red, if variation measure is strictly less than 0, return total sales. Otherwise, blank. Here is a super important detail. I use remove filters because we have to remove the date filter when evaluating the variation, because we don't want each individual point on the line to change color independently. We want the entire line to reflect the overall KPI state. So now we add both measures to the line chart. First, sales green, then sales red. Set its color to red. We remove the legend, and now, when the variation is positive, only the green line has values. When it's negative, only the red line has values. And just like that, the entire line reacts perfectly. Simple trick, but incredibly effective. Now for the final polish. We go back to our selector. We add conditional formatting, so if the selected value is positive, it turns green. If it's negative, red. We can even make that selected value bold. And that's it. Same data, but a completely different perception. Because here is the truth. Most developers focus strictly on making things work. Very few focus on how they actually feel. And honestly, that's exactly where the separation happens. If you want to move in that direction, building Power BI components that actually feel like premium product level software, don't forget to subscribe and stick around, because this is the exact direction we're going. See you in the next one.